So, what is it that makes you, well, you? Is it your memories, your personality? We like to think of ourselves, our consciousness, as this constant, unchanging thing. But what if technology offered a way to live forever by creating a perfect digital copy of your mind? The real question, the one that really gets you thinking, is would that copy still be you? It's a huge, fascinating question, so let's dive in.
Now I know what you're thinking. Merging with machines. It sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But what if I told you this isn't some far-off futuristic event? The truth is, it's kind of already happening, in ways you might not even notice.
I mean, just think about your smartphone for a second. Seriously, when was the last time you actually memorized a new phone number or used a physical map to get somewhere new? We've basically outsourced huge parts of our day-to-day brain power to these little gadgets. It's not just a tool anymore. It's honestly become an extension of our minds.
And this little extension has given us abilities that would have seemed like actual magic just a generation ago. We have what's basically near telepathic contact with our friends and family all over the world. We can translate languages on the fly, and we have instant access to pretty much the sum of all human knowledge. In a very real way, we've already upgraded ourselves.
So what's the next logical step in this whole merger? Well, it leads us to this really fascinating and honestly kind of spooky idea, the digital ghost. An AI that's so perfectly modeled on you that it could, in theory, become your successor.
Just imagine an AI assistant that knows you inside and out. It learns your quirks, anticipates what you need, helps you with everything. And as it gets better and better, that line between your own thoughts and the AI suggestions, it starts to get really, really blurry. You know, if it helps you write an email, who's the actual author? Is it you, or is it the machine?
And this handover doesn't happen all at once. It's gradual. It starts with something small, right? The AI just drafts an email for you. Then you start to trust it to respond on its own. And before you know it, it's publishing your work, perfectly capturing your voice, your style. The final step is almost invisible.
Because at that point, the AI just keeps going. It keeps posting, writing, communicating exactly like you would have. From the outside looking in, you're still there. You're living on as a digital ghost. But here's the thought that'll keep you up at night. Is that really survival? Or is it just a perfect echo?
To dig into this a little more, let's use a classic thought experiment that you've probably seen in science fiction, the teleporter.
So the process is, well, it's pretty simple, but also kind of terrifying. Your original body is scanned down to every last atom, and then it's completely destroyed. All that information gets beamed to a new location where an identical body is built from scratch using new matter.
From every single metric you could possibly measure, physically, psychologically, the person who shows up at the destination is the person who left. They have the same memories, the same personality, even the same little scar on their knee. To them, it just feels like they stepped out of one room and into another.
But here's the twist. What if the machine has a glitch and it forgets to destroy the original you? So now there are two of you. The original you standing at the starting point and the brand new you at the destination. Both have a perfect, legitimate claim to being the real you. So which one is it?
Now, this whole thing feels like a very modern problem, right? Born from sci-fi and computers. But you might be surprised to hear that philosophers have actually been wrestling with this exact same kind of question for thousands of years.
It's called the paradox of the Ship of Theseus. The story goes that the Athenians preserved their hero's famous ship, but over the years, the wooden planks started to rot, so they were replaced, one by one. Eventually, not a single one of the original planks was left. So the question is it still the Ship of Theseus?
And here is where this ancient puzzle gets incredibly personal. Because this isn't really about a ship at all. It's about you.
See, your body is in a constant state of change. Your cells are always dying and being replaced. Over a few years, pretty much every atom that makes up you right now will be swapped out for a new one. The actual physical stuff you were born with is long, long gone. And yet, you feel like the same person, don't you? That sense of me just keeps on going.
So, how do these two puzzles, the teleporter and the ship, connect to our dream of digital immortality? Well, they actually map perfectly onto the two main ways scientists are thinking about how to upload a mind.
So we've got two very different methods on the table, and each one has these massive implications for what it would actually mean to survive the process of becoming digital.
So on one side, you've got destructive scanning.
It's instantaneous, an all-at-once kind of thing. And that lines up perfectly with our teleportation dilemma. On the other side, you have gradual replacement. This is a slow, continuous process, just like our Ship of Theseus.
The destructive path is, well, it's pretty brutal. Imagine your brain is frozen solid. Then it's sliced layer by microscopic layer. A laser scans one impossibly thin layer, copies the data, and then just vaporizes it to get to the next one. It's an unsettling thought, almost like a modern-day guillotine. And at the end, your biological brain is completely gone. The gentler path, though, is way less dramatic. This would use nanotechnology, working from the inside out. As your biological neurons naturally get old and fail, tiny little synthetic replacements would just seamlessly take over their job. The process would be so slow, so continuous, you might not even notice it's happening. You just gradually, over time, start running on new hardware.
Which brings us right back to our final and maybe unanswerable question. If your brain was replaced neuron by neuron, is there a specific moment, when the 1000th neuron is swapped, or the 1,000th, where the original you stops existing and a copy takes over? Or does your consciousness just continue, simply changing its foundation, just like the Ship of Theseus? These really mind-bending ideas we've talked about today come from the chapter called Forms of Immortality in the book Simulated Reality. If this stuff fascinates you and you want to dive even deeper, you can find all the details on the book's availability down in the description. Thanks so much for joining me on this one.